Hi
Hel-
there.
Hello, hello. How are you
How,
doing?
fine. How are you?
I'm good. Happy
Awesome.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. How's everything going on the other side of the Atlantic?
Oh, wow. It's been an experience, but yeah, so far, just staying safe, right?
I hear you.
You
Totally.
know, that's all we
To-
can do right now. And just
Totally.
yeah, and just, make sure that your mental health and your physical health is, as good as you can keep it, right?
Totally. Totally. So I want to thank you, first of all, Naomi, for taking the time. I know you're a jet setter, you're a digital nomad. So I know, we had to squeeze you in there. And
I appreciate it.
Awesome. And so people will come in as we progress here, but I do want to kick us off, and I will save the replay for those who were not able to catch up from the very beginning. So as I see people come in, I will just kind of pause and say hi to them. And so I did pin our topics below just to kind of keep us going here on in a flow. So I want to first of all ask you, Naomi, if you could tell us a bit about your vegan journey and how you started this whole journey and what got you to where you are today.
Yeah, sure, Angel. So it started back in, well, I became vegan in 2014. And so it's been 6 years. But in the beginning, you know, I you know, it's funny because I started out being vegetarian, right? And that was, I failed miserably for, I think, the whole 2013. It was one of those, I was just trying something
Yeah,
because
yeah.
growing up I was slim and athletic, but when you go to college,
Oh yeah.
and
The
your
freshman
weight,
15, and then from there
yes,
it just goes up and up.
yeah.
15 becomes 30 and
It's it's so true. And then I was also working at a pizza restaurant, so you get pizza discounts, right? And I was working two jobs, so I was doing a lot. And so I wasn't being active, and so I was eating really late. And so in 2013 I really wanted to do something different about my health. So I was like, well, let me just try, being vegetarian, because at the time I loved cheese and fish, and I said there's no way I can get rid of that, right? And so I did it, I would, go good for about a month or 3 weeks, and then I fall off. I'll eat a burger or something. But it was the end of 2013 when it was the holidays, and I had a relative that was counting her pills in the 7-day medicine box, and she had all these pills on the counter, and and
oh,
and she was counting, and it was 15 pills just for the morning, right? So
oh
she
my, I
needed,
thought you were gonna say for the day.
no, so that was just 15 for the morning on some days, and seeing that and just asking, well, what is this for? And you know she would tell me, oh, it's for high blood pressure, and this one is for, diabetes. But in my mind I was like, well, they're kind of fighting against each other. So no wonder you have to take a lot of different ones. And so that Christmas was my last one, and I said, after that, I'm just going vegan, and I'm going to learn as I go. So
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining. I see some people coming in, and if
Hi,
you have
guys.
questions for, there we go. If you have questions and comments for Naomi, just pop them down in the comment section, and she'll be happy to answer them. So meanwhile, as we wait for questions to come in, yeah, I can relate to that because I also have people in my inner circle who pop a
Hmm.
lot of pills too,
Yeah,
and it's very sad, to be honest
yeah.
with you. It is very sad. So, wow. And I have something in common with you too there because I went pescatarian 20 years before I became before I became vegan for
Okay.
health reasons because I
Yes.
had a condition that was thought to be affected by animal products, in other words. And at that point, the
Mhm.
recommendation was to give up land animals. So I kept the ocean animals, and I kept the dairy and the eggs. And because
Mhm.
I didn't know anything really about veganism at that time. It was just so long ago. And but I can understand what you're saying. Like when you're around other people, things get
Yeah.
real hectic and real lots of pressure to fit in and everything. So I can understand,
Mhm.
you know, how
Absolutely.
it's so difficult to stay on track until you learn something that's so, you know, life changing. Like, no, 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 I'm not going back to that. You know?
Exactly. Yes.
So I can
Yeah.
definitely relate to some of what you said. And hi there, thanks for joining. If you have questions or comments for Naomi, just pop them down in the comment section below, please. So, Naomi, tell us a bit about what it's like to be a digital nomad and your experience so far, you know, globetrotting.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been traveling since 2013. So I've lived, yeah, I'm one of those. I go someplace and I don't just go for a short period of time, right? I go and I stay, right? And that's because I really want to get in touch with the countries and the experiences, right? And the culture. So you can't just stay for a few months. So I literally stay at different countries for years, right? So in 2013, I was living in Brazil. I was there for 3 years. I love Brazil. I love the country and the people. And then I was living in Morocco for 2 years. Now I've been in England for 1 year, and actually, news just in, I'll be living in Japan by the end of this year. So
Oh, how awesome!
yeah, so so it's been just a blessing, right? And so
Yes.
and so what I do is I do teaching, so I teach English and personal development. I work with youth and adolescents in these smaller communities, right? Um, but for my digital nomad experience, that actually started this year, with COVID, and it's really been great, guys. I can't stress it enough. Being a digital nomad, it is a lot of work, right? Because you are setting your own schedule,
Yeah,
um, and you are able to travel, but you have to be really mindful and disciplined, right? To say, okay,
totally.
well, I need to make this much, this month, or, I need to set aside these hours. So there is a lot of flexibility, but you just have to be disciplined about where you're going to be, what times are you going to be available for whatever you're doing as a digital nomad. So it's just a lot of good things that goes into it.
So now your teaching is more online, in other words,
Right
as
now, yeah.
opposed to when you were saying Brazil, when it was face to face, or Morocco face to face. So now so many people have had to re-engineer and just go straight online.
Absolutely. And really it is the way moving forward. I think that this pandemic has really shown us a lot about just, again, personal care, mental health, but also the change in, hey, I don't have to be at an office to do what it is I need to do, right? So definitely.
Yeah, and I've noticed some countries are offering kind of like I'm going to call it a global citizenship program, but it's like you can go and live there for 2 years
Yes.
because so many people are working remotely anywhere. So who cares if you're working in your city where you were hired versus you're working in Timbuktu? Like nobody
Mhm.
cares anymore as long as you're available, you know? And
Yeah, no,
so,
yeah, yeah. No, sorry. I just got so excited with that because, yeah, this summer, so they're calling it the digital nomad visa.
ah la la.
And places like Croatia, Estonia, Georgia, these are places that are offering this digital nomad. And what they're basically saying is, as long as you're not directly making money from from our country, and
Exactly.
if you're making it online, and if you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, you can apply for this digital nomad visa. And like you said, most of them are 1 year. Some of them are renewable. So
Uh-huh.
it's just a lot. It's really exciting right now with that.
It is. And someone just sent me I think the Turks and Caicos are offering a 2-year program. And there are other from what I understand, there are other countries in the Caribbean region that are offering this kind of a, like you said, a digital nomad visa pass. I call it a global passport. I don't know what it's called. But yes, so like you say, I think these are changing times. This is a pivotal moment. And oh, I love that you're sipping your tea.
My tea. I always have my tea.
This is awesome. This is awesome. And yeah, so I mean, I think it is, a sign of the times. It really is. Totally. Well, I
Absolutely.
appreciate you sharing that part with us, because I have visited Brazil and I'm quite enchanted by Brazil, to be honest with you. Morocco, not yet. Croatia, I did visit. I was very enchanted by the Adriatic coast of Croatia. And Japan is on my list, and I don't know if I'll ever get there with all of this going on, but I'm crossing my fingers that I will get there someday.
You will. You really will,
Ex-
right? We
ex-
have to speak it out into the universe, right?
Totally. Oh,
And
I'm gonna start that right now. I want to go to Japan. Awesome. So tell us what it's like to travel as a vegan, as a part of your kind of, globe trotting here. How does that work functionally for you?
okay, so honestly, so I'm definitely a unique vegan when it comes to how I eat when I travel. I'm not one. I do sometimes like going to vegan restaurants or vegetarian restaurants, but for me, I love the richness of the fruits and vegetables that I go to, right? So, for example, Brazil has acai. They have, maracujá, which is passion fruit. All these different vegetables. So I tend to eat raw, or close to when I do travel. But I just keep my food simple. And also, in Brazil, they have beans and rice. So, I always look at when you're vegan, or even if you're not vegan, if you just want to have you want to keep to your diet, think of your travels as like a scavenger hunt, right? Like, where can I find the best, healthiest food, and still, adhere to diet or my lifestyle, right? And also, you have the staples. You have nuts. You have seeds. You have grains. These countries that I've lived in, Brazil, Morocco, Croatia, and the UK, they all have beans, lentils. They have canned chickpeas. And even though I don't really promote canned foods, you
Yeah,
can easily,
yeah.
yeah, you can easily rinse those canned chickpeas off, eat them cooled, or you can, heat them up as well, and have you a really good meal that's also nutritious and has protein.
Yeah, I love how you put it, the scavenger hunt. I recently started to get to know local supermarkets super well. Super, the produce section. And like I was in Spain from, anyway, for over the holidays into this year. And I found an organic supermarket. Before that, when I was in Spain, I was just shopping at kind of the typical supermarket in their produce section and getting like the local Spanish produce. So I was really happy to find, an organic supermarket, because they have organic produce from all over Spain as well. So that was really cool. And then the same thing in Ireland. I found a kind of a market where they get organic produce. So that was cool. So I really love you just you keep it simple and raw, and you stay local, and I love that.
And like you said, the supermarkets, but also these country store markets as well. And most times they're the
Yes.
local farmers, and for me, I
Yes.
really pride myself on being with the locals and the farmers.
Yes.
and just talking to them and hearing their story.
Yes,
So,
that's so nice. I love that. That's a part
mhm.
of the journey too. That's a part of getting to know the country.
Yes,
Guys, if
absolutely.
you have
Yeah.
questions for Naomi, please pop them down below in the comment section and she'll be happy to answer them. And thanks so much for those who've joined so far. So, Naomi, tell us a bit about your focus on health, food, and fitness. I know you provide various tips and hints on your social media platform. And if you could just tell us a bit about, basically, it might sound obviously simple, but or taken for granted. But what is your real thrust behind focusing and sharing information on health, food, and fitness?
Yeah. So, like you've mentioned, I do, and I sometimes I wish I was a big foodie person, but that's just not me. And as a certificate with the University of Cornell, so I learned how to I learned how to eat through whole foods, right? Or understanding the not so much the benefits, but the negatives of eating so much processed food, right? So approach to health and food is really just keeping wholesome, being, and then just my motto is, you know, you don't have to live to eat, right? Right. So food is fuel. Eat the right foods. And this is again, you don't have to be vegan or vegetarian, but even if you are eating meat, eat the right foods, and don't eat so much of the processed or so much of the, your body will thank you for it, right? Your body will flourish. Your skin will become more clearer, your hair will grow, your nails, and there's also that spirit of how you feel on the inside. It protrudes out, and so you're giving that positive reinforcement to people who you interact with. And so, for me, on my platform, Diverse V, I like to just talk about positivity. I like to share a little of those experiences with food and health and how it can just help to embody a better, more positive you. Um, and as far as the fitness, because we are in quarantine, I'm not at a gym, so I'm doing a lot of cardio, running, or at-home exercises. I have not found how to showcase that yet because there's so many people do. So I want to make sure that when I do start showing about fitness, that
Yeah.
it's unique and different, and that it doesn't discourage people, right? Because that's
Mm.
the last thing that I want to that as on the platform. So yeah, food, fitness, and just really just seeing how you feel from the inside out.
Yeah, I mean, we have to listen to our bodies and listen to our minds and our emotions and everything, And if we have high vibes, we're probably on the right track.
Right. Yeah,
But if we're
exactly.
sluggish and we have pain and inflammation, then no, 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 we're definitely not on the right track.
Exactly.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting what you say about, the fitness aspect. Yes, there are a lot of people sharing their fitness routines, but I figure everyone still has a unique way of presenting it, to be honest with you. So, I mean, just the fact that you're you and you're not somebody else,
Mhm.
I mean, and you do have your
Yes.
community, I mean, I think it's great to just share whatever it is anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like you want to bring something that you feel is extra special to the table, but I still think it's special. I mean, everyone is
Sometimes
just
just keep
different.
again. Yeah, and like you said, just keeping it simple and just showing what you do, can help inspire. Yeah, for sure.
To- Totally, because not everyone wants a sophisticated, fitness routine. They don't feel comfortable with it. They don't feel ready. They don't think it's necessary. They may not even have equipment. They may not have the strength yet to do it, or the, self motivation to do it. So, I think there's
Right.
somebody out there for
Yeah,
everybody pretty much, to kind of keep them motivated.
that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll definitely
Yeah.
think about it now that you put it that way.
I think you have a lot to offer, I say don't hold on to your gifts. Give them away.
Oh, bless. I
Yes,
like
yes.
that.
So,
We should make that a shirt. Don't
yeah,
hold on to your gifts.
um,
Give them
don't
away.
hold on to your gifts. Yeah, you gotta give them away. Yeah. I'll think about the t-shirt idea, by the way. Yeah, I'll think about that too. So tell us a bit about your IGTV content, what it is you are, sharing with the world. Tell us a bit about that for anyone on here who's not, familiar yet.
Right. Well, first, I want to say that when Angel first came up to me and she sent me a message, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I would love to have her on my channel. And she was like, she beat me to it. She's like, "Wait, I was actually going to ask you to be on my show," and I was like, that's amazing. I love it. So I just want to say congratulations on all the work you've done, because I have seen a few of your shows, and they're really fun and informational. So
Cool.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank
you're
you.
welcome. But yeah, so my Instagram TV channel, I call it the DV Tribe Room, and what this basically entails, it entails people who, I believe in storytelling. I believe that it has a story. I am pro education, but I'm also a believer that you learn from someone else so you don't make the same mistakes, right? And so the DV Tribe Room Show talks about everything from being a digital nomad, to veganism, to spiritualism, right? To understanding how to eat healthier, right? So, my platform and my show doesn't discriminate. I really welcome everyone from all walks in their journey. I've had 7 episodes so far. My last episode was about a young woman who just turned vegan after she met me a year ago. Well,
Oh.
2 years ago, but she's been vegan for 1 year, right? So we talked about how that has changed, and with her and her family who are heavily. And then I had another show whereby there was digital nomads who are how this a digital nomad. You can teach, you can house sit,
Yeah.
you can do graphic design. It's more of an information show, but it's also just very relaxed. I love it. I actually want to have more shows and maybe progress my platform more of a talk show that still kind of focuses on health and food and fitness, but just having that storytelling component.
Well, I love what you said, and I think it's totally true that everyone has a story. I think what happens, similar to what we were discussing about fitness, is some people think that their story is not interesting enough, it's not exotic enough and intriguing enough, and people are going to get bored, or they're not an expert in something. So people are going to be like, ah, you don't know what you're talking about. And so I think, you really have to have a lot of self confidence, or you just don't care. You and you just say, I don't care. I don't care if people think I don't know what
True.
I'm talking about. This is my story. I'm just gonna tell it. And hey,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see who sticks around for the ride. Who sticks around till the end. They might
Exactly.
hop off in the beginning and say, yeah, no, I'm not finishing this book. This book is boring or whatever. It doesn't
Exactly.
appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me, whatever. That happens either with movies or books or whatever, even people, for goodness sake. So
Mm-hmm.
I really think that you're on the right track there in terms of taking it from the angle of stories. And a lot of experts say, we're all storytellers in some way.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And isn't a kind of a podcast component to what you're doing? I'm not sure.
Hey, it's funny you should mention that because I've been thinking about adding a podcast to this, right? But I have not yet. And the reason being is because, Instagram is, it's only Instagram, right? So you need to kind of add another component. So whether that's a podcast or a YouTube channel, just so that it can broaden your audience. And so I am thinking on working on a podcast idea just because for me, I think that'll be just better for the audience of having a podcast. But a lot of people YouTube as well, but I'm tech savvy, but I'm not good at all that stuff just yet. So yes, I am thinking about doing a podcast.
Well, I'm glad I asked you that because I was like, I think there's a podcast somewhere. No, and I understand your point. Like, I just kind of popped my IGTV videos over onto YouTube. Like, I put them on both. And yeah, one of my goals is to create some form of a podcast. But anyway, that's like in the next, iteration, I guess I could say. But there's some people doing some great things out there, and again, it doesn't have to be super sophisticated. It doesn't have to be 1,000% perfect or 100% perfect. It could be, a work in progress. So
Yeah.
I would encourage you again to share your gifts. That's kind of what I would say.
That is the motto for today's
I guess
day.
so. I guess so. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, guys, for joining. Whoever's still on here. If you have questions for Naomi or comments, please pop them down below, and she will be happy to answer them. So, meanwhile, Naomi, tell us, please, how do you handle naysayers, critics of our vegan diet and lifestyle choice?
That's such a good question. Honestly, I'm a very chilled, calm person. I don't I don't get angry. I'm not one of those a negative vibe. So for me, luckily, I have not had too many naysayers on my platform, but just as a whole of the vegan community, I would say that I think most people just need to more information and knowledge. I think a lot of naysayers just lack understanding. But also, I'm not saying that us as vegans, we are not the reason as well, because some of us, right, are really extreme. And, and I think that if you want to talk about change, you want to instill change and enforce different policies and lifestyles, you have to come at an approach that's respectful, but also sensitive, right? So, I think that it goes both ways, that we need to be more sensitive, especially nowadays, because to be honest, we live in a generation where people are so sensitive, right? I don't mean to be negative about it, but we're just more sensitive than we were back 10 years ago, right? So we so we have to be more cognizant and sensitive to people, and the naysayers need to, instead of just barking or attacking, maybe take a step back and just say, okay, well, do I know really what I'm saying? Or, why am I doing this? Why am I so angry inside over something that has nothing to do with me? Right? So I think for naysayers, my advice is be to take it as a grain of salt, use it as not a way to attacking them, but as a way of just saying, hey, I hear you, I understand what you're saying. However, what you're saying is not really correct, and let me show you why.
I love that. I love how you take like more of an educational approach, and a more compassionate approach rather than saying you don't know what you're talking about. Go do
Yeah.
your go do your homework before you start. or go watch some, you know,
Yeah.
documentaries or something like that. And the documentaries are super powerful, and a lot of people have told me that documentaries really, you know, changed the whole direction of their lives, and you know, push them to adopt a vegan lifestyle. So I understand that some people, and I have had some people say, you know, they're kind of tough on critics and naysayers, especially if they know them very well. Obviously, you know, their inner circle, because they want what's best for them and they want them to be healthy. Just like you were talking about, you know, that person earlier in your life who had so many pills to take, you know, and so in cases like that, you know, you want them to be healthier, you know, you want them to thrive and not depend on artificial means to that are still causing loads of side effects anyway. And so, but you know, it's like it's just a marketing. We're just brainwashed to believe that we have to live, you know, on the standard diet and lifestyle. And a lot of people just don't know. They literally don't. And I didn't know for many, many years. And I'm telling you, the only reason I ditched like meat in terms of what we call meat, you know, so many years ago, was because of a health issue, and it was recommended in some research that I read, oh yeah, you should get rid of meat. So that's why I did that. But I was still under the impression that I needed fish for, you know, healthy fats and certain nutrients, that I still needed dairy and eggs for protein, and you know, and so I just figured I had to keep eating that, you know, those forms of food, quote unquote. But you know, it is about information, and it is about, you know, research, and sometimes people do need you know, some encouragement to kind of, you know, go in the right direction. So I think your approach is really cool, because you are taking it from a more compassionate perspective, and not kind of like shoving it down their throat, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And that could also be the teacher inside of me as well. So, you know, but also, you
True.
know, just the fact that, you know, and you know, just the fact that, you know, I went vegan for health. You know, I know there's a lot of reasons why people go, but, you know, I stayed vegan because I read books. Not that important to me at that time. Now, you know, it is because I have a more understanding. In the beginning, I just want to make sure I changed the dynamic. I wasn't popping pills. You know, I wasn't going to have breast cancer, or you know, chances, or you know, high pressure. So for me, I went vegan. So it was just me reading about it. So I think that's why I'm able to come at it to educate others the way that I educated myself.
Yeah, yeah. And there was something you were saying about oh, I know. The other day I was talking to someone whose family, his entire family went vegan, and he and his family went vegan for health reasons. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, me too." And he said, "Oh yeah, you know, there's a saying, you know, you come for health and you stay for the animals." And once I learned about all of the cruelty that our animals are suffering, you know, because I started on a vegan diet, I was not vegan. I was only eating a vegan diet. I didn't understand all of this, you know, cruelty in, you know, our skincare, beauty products, cleaning supplies, furnishings, clothing, all of that. I didn't really understand all of that when I first started eating a vegan diet. And then it was as I, you know, started to find out more, it's like, oh no, 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 I can't participate in that either, you know, to the best of my ability anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is true for a lot of us, you know, that we do come for health, and then as we learn more, you know, we obviously stay for the animals and the environment. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, it's really cool. So, what would be your advice then for suggestions for new vegans or non-vegans who are curious, you know, the vegan curious, vegan friendly people who, you know, approach you and say, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, changing, I'm thinking about, you know, this vegan diet and lifestyle. What do you say to them?
Yeah, so I love that question, and I kind of post on my website. But I just tell people to take it one step at a time, right? We live in a society where everything has to be now, right? I need it now. I want it now. And that's not realistic, right? You cannot go from 0 to 100 unless if you're in a Lamborghini, I guess, right? But
There are not too many of those
in real
around.
life, no, yeah. But in real life, it doesn't happen that way. So I tell people, take it one step at a time, right? So, the way I got started was, okay, I think for 1 week, I went 3 days without eating anything but oil, right? And I did that for about a month, okay? Now, I will tell people it takes about 30 to 45 days for your body to adjust to any significant change, okay? So you have to take it one step at a time. So if you want eating bread, for example, let's say you eat toast every day. Well, just say, on Tuesdays and Fridays, for 3 weeks, I'm not going to eat bread on those days. So 2 days a week for 3 weeks, I'm not going to eat bread. And then boost it up to 4 days for the next 3. The same for adopting a plant-based lifestyle. Or if you want to incorporate more vegetables, right? Maybe one that eats a lot of veggies. So maybe you can say, okay, well, starting November 1st, I want to eat, salad 4 days a week, right? And so you do that. And again, 3 to 4 weeks. And then you add on something else, add asparagus to a salad, right? And yeah, just taking those baby steps. And also being surrounded by people who can help, boost you up. I call them your cheerleaders, right? So whether it's your mom or your sister, brother, friends, having that community really does help. And then, yeah, just following people, like-minded people on social media that helps to keep you motivated, right? Like for me, it's funny because I've adopted a whole food plant-based lifestyle for the month of October, and I'm going and all these fatty foods. And so for me, I have to kind of swipe to not see them because, seeing food or seeing things that trigger you want to kind of make sure that you're following people who are going to help point you in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like out of sight, out of mind, But once you see that image of that donut or that cookie, it's like, oh yeah, I think I'll go down to to the bakery.
It's so bad.
And
Too, I'm
hey,
telling you, Angel.
I do it. I do. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You do it
No,
when.
no. I do it too. And it's, I'm a very curious person. And so, I say, so these are my 3 reasons for, eating processed food. So it's convenient sometimes. I'm curious. Oh, how does that taste? So that looks interesting. And then to communicate, to share it with others, who are, perhaps, because I started out on processed foods when I converted to a vegan diet. I was eating loads of veggie burgers,
We
pastries,
all
cakes.
do.
I had a sweet tooth. I mean, that sweet tooth kind of got cured through fresh fruits because they're so sweet. They're sweeter than sugar, in my opinion, in terms of fresh fruit. So I don't have the cravings for all the pastries and the processed sweets anymore. But I mean, I was there and I know how it feels. And periodically, like I said, if there's a new dessert on some menu where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna try that. I want to know what it tastes like. Sure, why not? So yeah, but go ahead, please.
No, you mentioned. I think I heard 3 C's from you when you said
Yeah,
communication to share. And what was the last one?
and curiosity, curiosity.
Curiosity. That that
Yeah,
is
because
a
I'm very
great that
curious. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, I want
Yeah.
to know how that new vegan burger tastes that they just added to the menu, or if I'm in a new place. I'm like, sure, I want to know how that tastes.
I love that. that's a discussion in itself. Just talking
True.
about those three C's as you begin your vegan journey and how you transition, right? Yeah, no, that's great.
Totally, totally. No, but I mean, like you say, I mean, so personally, to keep myself like really super motivated on social media, I do spend more time looking at what we would call clean vegan or raw vegan or minimally processed or whole food plant-based. So I do spend more of my energy, you could say, like focusing on those particular posts and information that people are, sharing in terms of nutritional information, all of that. So I agree. Like I do get more excited and more energy and inspiration from those particular posts because we all know deep down inside, we all know that eating cleaner is better. And yes, we all know also that it's super cool and super nice and super yummy to treat ourselves, quote unquote, to a donut sometimes or a burger sometimes or whatever. So, I don't like look at it as just cut and dry all the time.
Right, as you shouldn't, right? There's a balance, right? So you can, I'm definitely not saying people can't have the burger and the fries. I'm not perfect. I do as well. But yeah, whatever your mindset is, just stick to it, right? So if you want to have a burger or pizza, 2 days a week, but you want to eat healthy 5 days, that's fine. That's the balance that you've chosen for yourself. Just make sure that you have that support and you're looking at social media that's going to help keep you on that track.
Yeah, and I love when people who are like reading someone else's post, they actually ask questions. And they ask like, well, what was in that dressing? Or, oh, I've never tried such and such a fruit. Or, where can I get that? Like that kind of thing, right? Like I really love how people interact with each other, like they create like their own little communities and their own
Yeah.
safe spaces, and I mean, I've never seen anyone, take a question in the wrong way. And so it's really nice to have that open communication, I think.
Absolutely. So since we're on your show and I'm super curious, what are your what are your top like favorite vegan foods? Like if you had a top five for processed, what are they?
Uh, Processed or wait,
Oh yeah, you
I
can.
heard
Well,
I heard the word processed.
well, it could be processed or it could just be your favorite vegan foods. We'll do that.
No, I love fruits. I My breakfast, for example, usually consists of fresh fruits. Right now, I'm on a binge of various colors of apples because it's, apple season. So various colors of pears. There are some organic mangoes now in the supermarket from California. So I get like they're huge and I just use them. They last me like 2 days. So I use like half one day in a smoothie and then another half the other day. Um, so though, and now we also have still, I'm really surprised, but we still have like some organic dark black plums. I love fruits, to be honest. So for me, fruits could be lunch, breakfast, dinner, it doesn't matter. And then I complement them with different seeds and nuts. So I have a slight addiction to sunflower seeds, which is super embarrassing, but I love sunflower seeds. I also love pumpkin seeds and almonds. Those are my three weaknesses when it comes to seeds and nuts.
Nice. Oh my God. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
we have so much in common because I'm the same. I eat fruits all day. And but my week peanuts, raisins, and dates. Right. Because you have the superfood, you
oh
have the
boy. Ooh, dates.
healthy thing as well. But yeah, I can eat that all day.
Yeah, and I think your three, peanuts, raisins, and dates, those are super good for someone who travels a lot because they're very mobile. They're very portable, and I think they're awesome choices. Some people make trail mix or they buy trail mix or whatever, some little concoctions. They're super yummy too, and not very processed. So I can kind of see like that combo fits your lifestyle quite well because they're like a grab and go. They
Yeah,
can just be packed up, and you hit the trails and you just
yeah,
go out for 5 hours. Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, do you have an apple or like you said, a orange or a mango? And that for me is a meal.
Oh yes. Oh yes. For me, easily, fruits and nuts and seeds are a complete meal.
Mhm.
I might, now I'm on a kick of herbal tinctures, so I put the herbal extracts in water, or I'm also big on like herbal teas, so I'll, make some like, have a jar of tea, on the counter there as well to kind of sip on. So, I mean, there's so many options, to be honest with you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we
Absolutely.
have, oh la la, we
I
have
love,
about 12 minutes left.
I love.
So,
I know. Okay.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch. What were you saying you
Yeah,
love?
you know what? I'm gonna say I love your answer about your tool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love to keep it simple and clean as much as I can because I know that I am a natural foodie from childhood. I mean, a foodie. So, like I was saying earlier, if I go somewhere and I see there's like a new vegan item, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to try that. So I try to keep it as clean as I can when I'm not out and about and there are not so many temptations out there and
Yes. Hmm.
exotic little things going on. So yeah, I like to keep it clean and simple. Plus my energy is way better. I am like super high when I'm, eating fruits,
Yeah.
and even like savory fruits, like tomatoes are savory fruits. Different zucchinis, they all have seeds, so they're all fruits. We think of them as vegetables sometimes, at least when I was growing up. But
Yeah.
yeah, and making a quick smoothie as well, putting
Hmm.
fruits and vegetables in a smoothie. I add spices. Sometimes I put superfood powders in there. So yeah, I mean, I like to keep it clean as much as I can. However, I am fully aware that if there is a real nice new vegan item on some menu somewhere, I might find myself munching on it. So yes.
You're running
Okay, so
to
I
it.
think we
I love.
have, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think we have 11 minutes left. So tell us a bit about your current and future offerings and projects.
Yeah. So right now, Diverse Vegan, I relaunched it back in year. I went on a 7 month hiatus, just because when I first launched it, I was trying to do the most. I was trying to tell everybody different things. I was working on a farm, and it didn't have a focus, right? So I really wanted to take 6 months, 7 months off to really just as I wanted to make that vegan come out to be. And also before then, no one really knew me. I was like hiding behind the logo, so no one really got to know who Naomi was. So with the relaunch in July, it's like okay, I want to show people more about me. I want people to understand, how it is how I am a diverse vegan, right? And how to be a diverse vegan as well. So just share my experiences. So yeah, so as far as projects, like I mentioned earlier, I do want to start adding more to the DV Tribe Room show. Just different people from all walks of life come on to share their story. And I really want to tap into people who are not necessarily, but are thinking about making that jump, because I think that can help a lot of people to see someone, to see a real person, and to ask them questions. And I think that would be a really good dynamic. So I'm thinking maybe in December as a way to bring in the new year, new you, maybe thinking about something that way. Um, and other projects I'm still trying to work on, building up the podcast, right? So trying to figure out how that can, and then like I mentioned, I'm actually moving to Japan in December, so I would love to. I don't really know exactly how that vegan and Japan is going to commingle and coexist, but I have a few ideas, so I'm hoping that I can work on that as well.
Yeah, there are quite a few vegans in Japan, obviously, and I follow, periodically I see posts from the hashtag either Japan vegan, vegan Japan, something like that. And some of them are super cool. I mean, I've always loved Japanese food anyway, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
from a very young
yeah,
age. And now obviously I order the vegan options, or they create customized vegan options for me if they're not on the menu. Um, and I mean, just like the whole thing about seaweed, and they're just so great with seaweed, and I just love seaweed, you know.
yeah.
And
It's
so
so good.
and all of the veggies, yeah, all of the veggies, and that they're into. So I think it's going to be awesome for you, quite frankly, in Japan, because yeah, I get the impression that they are very vegan friendly from the posts that I see. There are a couple people who actually post not just their home, what they prepare in their homes, but also what they're getting like out in the cities.
Right.
Obviously, depending on which part of Japan a person is in, there'll be more offerings, in restaurants
Yeah.
and cafes and all that jazz. And with
Yeah.
with with this situation, this pandemic now, I don't know how that's going
Yeah.
over there, but I think it's going to be awesome for you.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm definitely doing my research, so I'm connecting with a few people and organizations out there now. So it'll definitely be some things in the works. So I just have to keep you guys updated on that.
Yes, yes. And so have they moved more to online teaching, or are they doing some face to face? How is that working over there in Japan?
I'm sorry, you cut out online.
Yeah, in Japan, have they moved to online teaching, or are they still doing some face to face?
We're doing some. So we're doing online and some face to face. So I'll be working with teaching business English in corporate settings. So it may be some of it's, via Zoom, and some of it may be in person. Right now, being worked out and opened up their borders October 1st. So right, what that looks like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's going to be awesome, though, in terms of the whole corporate world. That's going to be cool for you.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
excited.
And
I'm
I mean,
excited.
there, at least you'll be, yeah, yeah. And even if it's online, at least you're on the same time zone, for goodness sakes, You're not like,
Mm-hmm.
having to wake up at midnight to, hop on a Zoom. Yeah, hop on a Zoom with someone who, for them, it's 9 a.m. or, whatever, 8 a.m. or something, right? So at least being in the same time zone, I think it's super awesome for you and your clients. And also, that you guys can do some face to face. That would be awesome too. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for joining. We only have 5 minutes left, unfortunately. So if you do have any questions, you can pop them down in the comment section below for Naomi. So, Naomi, tell us, what's the best way for people to contact you if they want to collaborate, chit chat? What's the best way for you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So for me, I'm a very friendly, person. You can contact me anything. Diverse Vegan on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as well, but Instagram is my baby. Community really is. So you can reach me on at Diverse Vegan. I have a website, diversevegan.com. So that's DIVERSE vegan, all one word, diverse you can send me an email, naomi@diversevegan.com. So you have a few options: Instagram, website, or email.
Awesome. All right. So, Naomi, we have 4 minutes, maybe 3 or 4. It's going to probably give me a countdown soon. So, what would you like to
Yeah.
close us out with in terms of anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say, guys, just, don't take life so seriously, especially now. Just keep up with your health. Try to worry less. We never know when our day will be our last. So, just really just use this time to get to know and love and appreciate yourself, and right by your body, because we only have one of these bodies. We don't get another one, right? So what you put in, you get out. So I just want to say, just stay safe, believe in yourself, and just do whatever it is you want to do, because it's never promised.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to just close this out. So, Naomi, I want to thank you tremendously for taking the time. Again, I know you were like country hopping when we were, messaging to set this up, and you're now going to be country hopping again. So I do, appreciate you taking the time. And good luck in Japan and
Thank
wherever
you.
else your trails lead you. And so thanks again. And I will save the replay for anyone who wasn't able to catch the full conversation. And then I'll post it to stories. It's giving me the
Okay,
countdown.
thank you so much for inviting me and having me on. Okay, thank you so much. And guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope to see you on Diverse Vegan. Thank you,
There
Angel.
we go. So thank you, Naomi, and take good care. Bye bye.
Okay, you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.